Chris, it's been a while.
It has been a while. I just figured we'd get the gang back together and do like the most sacrilege fan edit ever.
Mess with the masterpiece, right?
Right, exactly. Just like in real life, you're kind of portraying good and I'm kind of portraying evil. So
That's
it
right.
kind of works.
The Shire is my happy place.
Exactly. For me, it's like, oh, I'm only feeling good when there's like evil Mordor language.
You are the fan edit king, at least on this channel, and you did a brilliant prequel edit. If you guys want to check that out, we had a discussion about that, top right corner.
Hello there.
I have a little anecdote. Now that you're doing Lord of the Rings, I think it's interesting because Lord of the Rings it was such a well-made trilogy. Feels perfect. That's why you said this was kind of sacrilegious, maybe, to edit it. And I think that the prequels and Lord of the Rings running at the same time was really the worst thing for the prequels, because it was like that mirror.
Only pain will you find.
It was just very obvious one trilogy was pitch perfect and the other one was sloppily going from plot point to plot point.
This is the trilogy to rule them all.
Exactly.
He poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life.
May it be and like, subscribe.
May it be.
And so now that we've established how perfect it is, let's talk about how you hacked
mess
it
with
up.
it. I actually really am baffled that this fan edit doesn't exist, because it's like everybody did an edit of The Hobbit, and I'm just not even going to bother with that because there's so many great edits out there of The Hobbit. My personal favorite one is by this editor called Spence, and like he managed to get it down to 3.5 hours, which to me is like perfect. Just this little, it's only one book. The only edits out there for Lord of the Rings are really trying to make it more book accurate, and because I'm actually like illiterate, I don't care about that.
Your love of the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
If the extended editions just didn't have that scene or this little moment, they'd be so perfect. And I'm like, Peter Jackson's fantastic, but it's been 20 years. So I'm like, you know what? There are a couple things that just don't quite work. And the first one to me was actually because I watched this fan edit of The Hobbit and then started watching Fellowship. I was like, wait a second, Martin Freeman is Bilbo. Why is a 70-year-old Ian Holm wearing a wig pretending to be a 40-year-old hobbit or whatever?
What's this?
A hobbit.
You can tell his hands are like all wrinkly and stuff. And so all I did was I just took footage of Martin Freeman from the Hobbit movies. It's a 5 or 10 seconds or whatever, but it's just nice for me to have that continuity between the Hobbit. Because if you're going to do like a 4-movie watch, like just watch the Hobbit cut down to one movie and then jump right into Fellowship, it gives you that continuity.
I think the Hobbit edit, the Martin Freeman edit, is it's one of those things that's so simple and right in front of your face. You're just like, use that. That's the perfect kind of crossover. As you said, it pulls it all together.
Little shout out to that to the prequel, to the original book.
I liked it. I thought it was a great addition.
This one I maybe cut up like 2 minutes, but the big thing was like that wizard battle, where it's like, Gandalf versus Sauron, and it sounds so cool on paper, and then they're like, waving their staffs at each other, and they're flying across the room, and it just never, 20 years ago to today, it didn't matter. Like, it just always looked a little silly. And so I basically just cut it down.
It was funny because I was watching it and I was like, oh, there's blood suddenly. You're just like, they're kind of like in a fight, but then suddenly Christopher Lee has some blood on his face. And I was like, Chris, CGI'd the blood out.
I keep it.
Sure. At the end of the day, it's old guys with sticks.
Right.
Not to be mean.
I actually did little Reddit post asking kind of fan edit, forum people what they thought. And that was, like there's a bunch of things that were pretty consistent. And one of them was like, oh yeah, the wizard battle doesn't look very good.
For that is why you have come, is it not?
The next thing, I think it jumps forward like well over an hour. Like, again, like I think Fellowship, like I know Two Towers is like, oh, it's the one that's like all action and so good. And I love, Two Towers as well. But it's sort of like to me, like Empire versus, Star Wars New Hope. I love Fellowship because it's the simpler story. It's tighter. You got the whole Fellowship together, going on this journey. So I'm like, I barely touched it. But one of the things that always like annoyed me, Aragorn and Frodo get stuck on this like 100-ton stairs. Everybody's like jumped across, and then part of the stairs falls away, and they're not going to make it. And he's like,
"Lean forward!"
As if the combined weight of this, man and this hobbit, like 300 pounds, maybe like 250 pounds, is gonna like change the trajectory of this like 100-ton rock staircase. And I know this is a universe of magic and all that, but like at no point are we led to believe that like gravity doesn't exist in the Lord of the Rings universe. It's good for like the hero to be in control of their own destiny, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is like, Aragorn's so clever.
Indeed.
I think it's fine to have like a little moment of luck where like, the stairs get smashed and they just kind of fall forward and they're able to jump off them.
It's funny because when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not even sure what you cut here. I did, but because it looks really seamless. So first of all, I think it's a great edit, and I think it looks great. So that's one thing. But also Aragorn is a practical, smart survivor ranger, and he really just silently, I think it's the better move, is silently he grabs him, embraces him for what's to come, and then they just make their move. And I don't know, that seemed to work, and I had to go back and go like, wait, how did this what did it in the lean forward, you're like, it was not needed. It's not needed.
And that's the thing,
it was like not needed.
I basically just cut the line, and then there's like a shot of the rocks like going one way and then starting to go the other way, and I just cut that out. I was like, let's just have the rocks just go forward because they lucked out, and that's how it fell. The real, last significant thing I cut out was, and this is like, I said at the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, book accuracy is not my thing, but this is the only moment where I get like, I actually did read at least 1.5 of these books, and how dare you, like the Lembas joke where like Legolas comes up to, I think Merry and Pippin, and he's got this like whole, pouch of lembas bread, this like magical elven bread that, one bite
To fill the stomach of a grown man.
It's almost like a look at the future for what we get from Peter Jackson, like in the future movies. It was like, oh, we got to make a silly joke. Like, let's have Merry and Pippin be like, oh, oops, I already ate all of them. The only reason it bothers me is because it's actually a big plot point in the third movie where, literally the only thing that Sam and Frodo are surviving off of is this lembas bread, and Gollum, makes it look like Sam's ate it all and this and that. And it's like, well, making fun of this stuff at the beginning, to me, kind of hurts the significance of it, in the end. So I was just like, I just cut the joke. I was just like, let's just cut Merry and Pippin being stupid about it. Also, it's magical elven bread. How dare you besmirch? Literally, this is a preview of like, anytime there's a scene that's sort of semi-serious, let's have Gimli or Mary or whoever just crack some stupid joke. And like, that's a lot of the editing that I ended up doing, mostly in Two Towers. Like, I'm gonna finish that up and wanted to get this, Fellowship out, but like, I'm already can tell. I'm like, oh, stupid Gimli joke, get that out of there. Stupid Gimli joke. And it's like people's requests too, where they're like, could you get rid of that stupid moment where like Gimli's like breathing away the ghosts? Like, it's just these kind of dumb moments. They're like, God, I don't know why they even put that in there in the first place.
The real challenge is keeping some of the levity but editing the silly.
Exactly.
You got to keep the right moments so that the film, because it's long,
it's
long movies, so you kind of need those moments of bright, bubbly, kind of feel good fun.
That's totally it. My dear sweet mom did like her own. She already beat me. I didn't actually finish my watch through because I started doing these edits. And like, she's finished the watch through, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Gimli's really dumb sometimes." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, it's true." She's like, "He would just like," and sometimes I wish he wouldn't. I was like, "I'm making it so he won't."
That's funny.
Yeah, there's still like moments of humor, but it's just not like the worst offenders are going to be.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. That's well, you're going to have a lot of people judging your comedy chops on what's the worst offender and what deserves to stay.
And that's the thing, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like this one, like I said, I really only caught like a couple minutes from Fellowship and then just kind of made that continuity change. And that's kind of why I think this one's important. But like Two Towers, I can already tell, I'm kind of deep into that one. And I know there's going to be some stuff cut. And I think it's going to end up closer in length to like, I think like Fellowship at this point is like 3 hours and 27 minutes. Because, and that gets us to our last, the only other thing I just cut out the fan club credits. Like, man, if you paid, I think it was like $50 or something, you get your name in the credits. And those credits, like 8,000 people paid or something. And so there's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's like a forever long second credit sequence. And I was like, y'all got your money's worth. And I'm sorry, but like, people got to download this thing and like deal with this. I'm like, I don't want to deal with rendering an extra sixth of the movie or whatever. I'm like,
oh my God,
it's gone. Like, sorry, fan club community. That's gone. So
you heard it here first. Chris is against the fans. He is vehemently against the fans.
When you see the run lengths of the extended editions, 15 to 20 minutes of that is like, not just the credits, it's the credits after the credits. So really, whatever, Two Towers isn't really 4 hours long. Return of the King isn't really 4.5 hours long.
What else we got? What else are we doing?
That is it. Like, I did not want to get super ambitious just because I actually feel Fellowship is the extended version. I think by far it's the best extended version. The scenes they added, like the beginning with Bilbo finishing writing the book, I think, it connects so well again with how Hobbit ends with him starting the book. So it's like, there's just these nice connecting points that get added in. Like, it just didn't feel like any extended scene didn't have a purpose. It was just these little moments. And like the wizard battle isn't even an extended scene. That was in the theatrical version.
It's so well made, and it's so kind of like to the bones, what you need to set up this story, that when you do an extended version, really all the things added just kind of improve it as opposed to like bog it down.
But coming up in the next few weeks, months, something like that, I'm going to finish this Two Towers edit. We'll get that out there and let you guys know what can I remove from that one.
Let us know what you think about this edit.
Look forward to hearing your thoughts, and we'll see you guys for the Two Towers.